Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the 9 Mile Swamp. I'm Kurt. This is Cheryl, and perhaps
they know that.
we could even have an appearance from Brynhild the dog tonight. You never quite know. And what a week it is! What a week it is! So many things going on. Oh my goodness! I'm recovering from my flu shot. Last night, my shoulders were like that, and I felt kind of woozy before, but I'm feeling great now. So. The first order of business is to play the song that we screwed up last week.
Oh, you think so?
I really do. We're running together. You ready?
I'm almost ready. Trying to find us here.
Over there.
There we are.
There we are.
Okay.
I believed in you when I was feeling lonely. A shadow that ran out before me. Just around the bend, slipping through the misty trees, and I struggled ever faster, but fell behind you. Still I was alone, but I was feeling stronger. I found freedom and motion and wonder. I reached out to you, floating painlessly, just like angels on that morning without ending. Two of us running together, chasing the sunlight from the mountains. The light comes from the east, soon you hear us singing. Chasing the night fears from our shoulders. Running together, chasing the sunlight from the mountains. The night comes from the east, soon you'll hear us singing. Chasing the night fears from our shoulders. Sometimes in the night still wake up lonely. A shadow comes racing behind me. I reach out to you, and you hold me close and warm as the sunbeams kick up gold dust by our window. Two of us running together, chasing the sunlight from the mountains. The night comes from the east, soon you'll hear us singing. Shaking the night fears from our shoulders.
Yes!
Yes!
Very nice.
Ooh, what a relief. That was great. That was fun. Yeah, so I had promised today on the phone, on Facebook today, I wrote a post about my grandfather's paintings. My grandfather painted in Prospect Park, and a bit behind us is I know that painting may look like the 9 Mile Swamp, but it's actually Prospect Park. I never met my grandfather. He died 20 years or so before I was born. But he was the artist in the family, and I've always felt a kind of kinship for him. So it took me 30 years, by the way, to get these paintings. Here's to Henry Lambert. In Brooklyn.
And to Marjorie Schwartz for
And Marjorie Schwartz
and
for the wine.
Brian
Yeah.
for the wine. Yeah.
Yes,
Thank
excellent,
you,
really
Marjorie.
excellent. So this is why we mentioned Marjorie and Brian. They've become interested in Bruce Chatwin, who wrote a fabulous book called The Songlines about Aboriginal Australians and about the power of song and their culture. That the song, if I remember right, it's been 20 years or more since I read the book. But if I remember right, the gist of the songs and the song lines is that people recorded their history in their songs, and that included how to navigate around Australia, how to find things at certain seasons and so forth. So even though the song isn't quite about that, the song was very, very much influenced by Bruce Chatwin's book, The Songlines. You choose some direction, follow a sound, the wind's intention may turn you around. Maybe you need some time to be free. What is freedom? Come show it to me. You turn around, I'm here this time. You turn around, and I'm gone. I'll turn down some line and walk that line alone. Winds blowing colder, so cold on my skin. The sun turns its shoulder, it's winter again. Sing lonely songs to the stars in the sky. Walk all alone in the crystalline night. You turn around, I'm here this time. You turn around, and I'm gone. I'll turn down some line and walk that line alone. The sun's blowing cold, they're so cold on my skin. It's winter again. Sing lonely songs to the stars in the sky. Walk all alone in the crystalline night. You turn around, I'm here this time. You turn around, and I'm gone. I'll turn down some line and walk that line alone. forgot the last verse.
Something you left off, something in the middle, I think. But that's okay. Hi, Jean from Florida. It's nice and toasty warm, I bet. It was a warm day today. It's in the 70s today. It's nice.
Still in these bars. This is an old song that I wrote shortly before the breakup of one of my bands, a band called the Womblers. This is called Still in These Bars. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's hard to take it all when you can't raise a smile. When singing your own songs wears you down just like the miles. We rode along through 7 winters where, through lean times and good, we sang away our cares. And I'm still in these bars, and I'm still on the road, still singing my songs, and I'm still having my fun. Late at night, we would end up in some dive, talking over the old times until the morning light. Talking over the time we got lost out in the snow, till we picked up the beat, found the way to go. And I'm still in these bars, and I'm still on the run, still singing my songs, and I'm still having my fun. You look at me like I've called all of my shots, like you know all my thoughts. Well, you must know a lot. Still I wish we could play together again, singing side by side, like we was still old friends. And I'm still in these bars, and I'm still on the run, still singing my songs, and I'm still having my fun. And I'm still in these bars, and I'm still on the run, still singing my songs, and I'm still having my fun. And I'm still in these bars, and I'm still on the run, still singing my songs, and I'm still having my fun. Still in these bars.
Alrighty.
Yeah. So, our next song is called All Our Fathers, and this is a song I wrote after doing a lot of reading about Native Americans and about acculturation, how we stole culture away from people. And industrialized society kind of does that. But the weird irony about industrialized society is eventually it steals the culture from its very own members, its very own people. And boy, you can see that happening now. We're losing so much focus in our society that we seem to be drifting toward chaos. Maybe it'll all get better soon. I don't know.
I hope.
Maybe it will. We can hope. Vote. Let's vote. So this is called All Our Fathers, and it was influenced by the history of Native Americans, but I'm not really sure. In fact, I can't even say I know for sure what it's about. I think this was one of those rare songs for me that while I was writing it, I wasn't sure. It sounds like a really bad way to write. I wasn't completely sure of what I was writing about, but it was there. It was all there, and this is it. So, sometimes it's better just to play songs, you know. Ancestral sands, rivers of silver we've drifted on, and there's gold in the sunset as it fades fast away. I'll build a fire against nightfall, safe by its side you will stay. Back in the city so distant, men in a circle of pain, hands that once worked for subsistence, for a bottle of grain. Lonely girl sits in a motel room while the radio drowns out the sound of her child. Lonely girl opens the window, radio sings to the night. Sit by the fire I've been keeping. Sit by my fire until dawn. While you were so sweetly sleeping, all our fathers have gone. Stones in a circle will linger, ashes will drift in the wind. Words in the speaking were dying, dreams in the daylight grow dim. Songs we'll remember for just a while they keep out the shadow that stalks in the night. We in a circle were singing, stones in a circle survive. Sit by the fire I've been keeping. Sit by my fire until dawn. All our fathers. We had the nice fortune of playing that at the Ramapo powwow, playing it for Native Americans. We first played it for an historian, a great historian of Native Americans, Evan Pritchard. And I had asked him to hear it, and he said, "Well, I don't know if I'm going to give it 1 or 2 tomahawks," which was kind of, don't know if I'm going to like this, you know. And well, anyway, he wound up liking it enough to invite us to go to the powwow with the Ramapo and other Native groups from New York who attend that powwow, and it was really nice. It was a lovely evening. Okay, now.
And I really missed having our friends sing the chorus. With us, Terry Sardo and Chance Groth.
There was a time when we were playing that song a lot, and playing a lot of acoustic gigs, and people knew the words. There's nothing better than when people know. It's an amazing compliment when someone knows the words to your song, since you know they mean, you know, it's a really nice thing. Well, every song has a story. The lyrics to the song were written by William Morris, who was the sort of the head of the 19th century arts and crafts movement. He was the originator of an organization that still exists today, more than 100 years, 130 years after he founded it, called the Society for Protection of Ancient Buildings, which their philosophy is to restore a building essentially by keeping the water out, not by replacing everything that's inside the building, like, for example, old churches and so forth, where a lot of times things are reupholstered and redone. There was a restorer in the 19th century named Gilbert, who was famous for bad restorations, and that was one of the reasons why Morris started it. He also wrote probably the longest poem in the English language, The Earthly Paradise, which was immensely popular in the 19th century when people read a lot of narrative poetry. Of course, people don't read much now, so it's not very well known today. But it went into, there were at least 20 or 30 different editions of it. And then as a sort of the last act of his life, he invented the fantasy novel, and his books were extremely influential to people like J.R.R. Tolkien and even George R.R. Martin, although George R.R. Martin might not even know it. One of the things you find in Tolkien's Lord of the Rings is that there are wayfaring songs, and one of the things that makes the text so delightful is it's broken up by all these nice little poems, you know. I mean, even Gollum has a poem. Sometime I'll recite Gollum's poem for you. I love Gollum. But this is a wayfaring song, and the character in Morris's book, The Well at the World's End, Away from Home the First Time, sings this song, and it's very much like a lot of Elizabethan songs. It's called An Evensong of Upmeads, and it was a song that I set to music. And I recorded the song on my album Heart, Mind, and All. And one of the most wonderful things, two amazing things about it. One is that it ends in a tour de force of, believe it or not, the drums. Because it's a very soft song, and it's very surprising when you hear the beautiful drums at the end of it. And also some beautiful synthesizer work by David Sanchez, and violin and mandolin by Larry Packer. And you know, we kind of just learned it in the studio, and it's a nice recording. So even if you don't, and by the way, if you buy any album now, we haven't said this today.
No.
We got a thank you letter from the Rondout Food Pantry today for the money we've been sending. But all of our friends have all our records, so we're not selling too many records anymore. So if there's a record we have, and you would, a CD that we have, and you would like it, all the money that's coming in for CDs now is going directly to the Rondout Food Pantry, and they're certainly glad to have it. So this is called An Evensong of Upmeads, and the lyrics are from The Well at the World's End. through the long grass going, the short shirt thou bearest, and no beard I see. And the last wind ere moonrise about thee is blowing, wouldst thou meet with thy maiden, or look'st thou for me? Bright shineth the moon now, I see thy gown longer, down by the hazels Joan meeteth her lad. But hard are thy palms, lass, scarcely were stronger. What's grip in thy hand kiss that maketh me glad? And now as the candles shine on us and over, full shapely thy feet are, but brown on the floor. As the barefooted mowers amidst of the clover, when the goat's note is broken and mid-June is o'er. And will I follow thee till the earth waneth away? Yes, I will follow thee. Oh, hard are my hand palms, because on the ridges I carried the reap hook and smote for thy sake. And in the hot noontide I swept off the midges, as thou lay'st neath the linden, or loath to awake. And brown are my feet, because the sun burneth high up on the downside amidst of the sheep. And there in the hollow, where from the wind turneth, thou lay'st in my lap whilst I sung thee to sleep. And will I follow thee till the earth waneth away? Yes, I will follow thee. Oh, friend of the earth, come nigher and nigher. Thou art sweet as the sun's kiss, as meads of the May. O'er the rocks of the waste, o'er the water and fire, will I follow thee, love, till earth waneth away. Thank you. Nice of you to say so.
So we have some nice friends watching. Eddie tuned in.
Carline?
Yeah.
Hey, Ed. Long time no talk.
Phil Miller's
Hi, Phil.
listening, and
Phil
John.
has a great video out.
He does.
Is it called This House?
Is it called This House, Phil? Might be. But if you go to Phil Miller's
Go to Phil Miller's page.
or it's on Vimeo, but I'm sure you can find
It's
it
on
on his
Vimeo.
Facebook page too.
Right, and a whole cast of characters sing a whole slew of vocals behind this song. And thank you, Phil, for asking
Yeah,
us
it was fun.
to do our little cameo. It was a real pleasure and an honor too. So go hear Phil Miller. He's terrific.
Yes. And John Walsh, who also just bought a guitar, right? Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know about these
One of these.
guitar people.
Yeah. I wish that, wouldn't it be wonderful if this whole thing ends and we can go visiting again? I'd love to
Yeah.
see John in person with his new guitar. I'm gonna tune up quickly.
Oh, you have to tune that thing too?
Yeah.
So
It was in tune when I bought it.
So this is our Dog Nose CD, and one thing that makes it special to us anyway is if you open up and look at all of the pictures on the border on the inside cover, it's dog noses pictures of dog noses that our friends sent us. So Hudson Valley dog noses, most of them. Although Michael's dog is in here too, Newton.
Well, we refer
Coast.
to them as Catskill dogs.
Catskill dogs, right?
Because we're actually in the Catskills because we're at elevation here. And there are, even at this elevation, of course, as you know, there are places at high levels where there are swamps. So the 9 Mile Swamp is at high elevation, and so we call that Catskill dogs. And by the way, if you say it fast, cats, or you say it slowly, cats kill dogs.
Oh.
That was deliberate. And we got that title from a story told to us by our late friend Steve Berg, who gave us the idea for Cats Kill Dogs. And of course we call it Catskill Dogs. This is called A Long Way from Sunday. And it's the story of my apostasy. And I'd like to say that this song is not directed in any way at anyone. It's only directed at people who would force you into obeying the tenets of their dogma.
Like dog comments tonight.
Dogs, dogma, catma.
That's not in tune yet.
It was, and I was talking so long, it slipped back. Okay, let's see. Got that.
Okay.
In a starched white shirt, frightened and alert, another mighty toss on devotion, churning all around, the organ's swirling sound. I tossed upon the rocks of devotion until I noticed the sun, broken stained glass gone. I rose upon the tide of tomorrow. I'm a long way from Sunday, and I'm on my own. I'm a long way from Sunday, and I found my home. Rockets raining down, fire burns the towns. Why must we die for our illusions? Sons of Abraham devastate the land, mouthing ancient words of delusion. Let the temples fill with dust, let swords and armor rust, let reason light the road to tomorrow. I'm a long way from Sunday, and I'm on my own. I'm a long way from Sunday, and I found my own. Sunday in my town, the children still come round. We pass the poison down each generation. There will come a day I can almost pray Lee's light will shine on every nation. When we notice the sun, the broken stained glass come, we'll rise upon the tide of tomorrow. It'll be a long way from Sunday, from Mecca and Rome. Promised land lies before us if we share our home. I'm a long way from Sunday, from Mecca and Rome. Promised land lies before us if we share our home. All right. All right. Well, this has been a nice evening, and it's been great to see some of our friends' names bouncing across our computer. Not that I can read you mindly, but when I go back and listen to it later, I'll be able to see who was here, and it was a pleasure having all of you. We wish you a pleasant week, and we'll see you next Thursday. We're going to leave you with a John Hiatt song that I love. I like a lot of John Hiatt songs. We played this song on our very first 9 Mile Swamp.
The first one?
Yeah, we played the song, so we're glad to be revisiting this again. And so here we go. Baby Blue. You ready? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just melt away in the park at dawn. Just a flower on. I keep calling to you, my baby blue, my baby blue. I keep calling to you, my baby blue, my baby blue. We discovered love in the basement cellar. Some of my best friends I'll never see again. I keep calling to you, my baby blue, my baby blue. I keep calling to you, my baby blue, my baby blue. Oh, so warm and oh, so tender, almost hurts too much to remember, as if the weight of your head on my shoulder by itself would leave us older. Thank you so much for joining us in the swamp tonight. It's been a real pleasure.
And we'll see you next week.
We're Kurt and Cheryl.
Yes.
Good night.
Good night.